My dear students, today we are going to learn about the chapter number 6, that is natural calamities. In this chapter, we are going to learn the definition of natural calamities, types of natural calamities, effects of it, and we will suggest some precautions to take during the natural disasters or calamities. Now, what do you mean by natural calamities? An event that occurs naturally and is not in control of humans is known as natural calamities. It is a sudden change in the surroundings which causes damage to human beings and their property. So that kind of events which can hamper our daily life, it is known as the natural calamities. So what are the examples of natural calamities or the types? They are earthquake, floods, drought, cyclones, lightning, landslides, and even tsunami is also natural calamity. This chapter we are going to learn about flood, drought, earthquake and about tsunami. Natural calamities can also be called as natural disaster because all natural calamities affect our environment and it causes great damage or loss of life. Now, let me tell you about flood. Flood occur due to heavy rainfall for a long period of time. When it rains, the river overflow and submerge the surrounding area. Water collects in roads, houses, farms and damage the property. So floods can destroy life and property and lead to unemployment in the area. That means people become jobless. Let us learn about the main causes of flood. Overflowing rivers can lead to the flood. Deforestation by human beings for their need and greed is also the cause. And when the water level is higher than the danger mark and a leak develops in the dam, then the dam cannot hold the water anymore. Then it also leads to flood. Due to the global warming, the ice is melting at a faster rate and it can also lead to the flood. Let us learn about the effects of flood. Lot of damage to the life, property and to the crops. Poverty as people become homeless and also jobless. Loss of drinking water sources. Waterlogging and severe water contamination. And severe water contamination leads to many diseases like malaria, dengue and cholera, etc. Precautions should be taken during the flood. Keep listening to the radio for updated information. If flood water has entered your house, switch off the electricity meter. Keep flashlights, candles and matchboxes handy. Store adequate amount of dry food items, medicines and clean drinking water. If there is food in your area, move to a safe place but never swim or drive during floods. Sometimes when the flood situation is out of control and people are finding it difficult to get out of the flooded area, then the army is called for rescue operations. Do you know? In 1931 in China, more than 40 lakh people died due to the flood. That was one of the most devastating flood in our history. We can control floods by planting more trees, not allowing construction of houses near riverbanks, construction of dams in the areas where the current of the river is strong. It should be well maintained. But there is only one positive side here. That is, for farmers, floods make the soil more fertile and increase the agricultural production. So what exactly happened? During flood, it supplies sediment and nutrients that nourish and enrich the soil and contribute to plant growth in areas of overflow. And thus they can increase the fertility of the soil. And what happens when there is no rainfall? then it also leads to another kind of natural calamity or disaster that is known as the drought. Drought occurs when there is a very little rainfall or no rainfall. During the drought, the wells, rivers, ponds, and the other water resources dried, and there is no water to plow the fields and to drink. There is shortage of food grains and water during the drought. So, when a particular area does not receive rainfall for a long period of time, leading to scarcity of water, the area is affected by drought. The causes of drought. Location. If the area located too far away from natural sources of water like rivers or the sea, the monsoon winds get weak by the time they reach that particular area, due to which there is no or little rainfall. Like in India, some areas of Rajasthan, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh, they are far away from the natural water resources. That's why those areas tend to receive little or no rainfall. One of the major causes is also deforestation, that means the cutting of trees, which leads to scarcity of rainfall in that particular area. The effects of drought are threatening as all the ponds, lakes and rivers dry up and there is no drinking water for animals or for human beings. That means all water bodies dry up, the crops die and there is little or no fodder for the cattle, due to which they start to starve and then they eventually die. It is not possible to grow new crops as the soil becomes dry, so the farmers are the worst hit at the time of drought and they start to starve. The whole nation also suffer as there is lack of vegetables and fruit supply, as we can't grow any new crop, and that's why also the price of the commodities increase. But there is always a way. We can control drought by planting more trees or by afforestation. Planting more trees is known as the afforestation process, exactly opposite to the deforestation process. This will bring in more rainfall. We must encourage water harvesting, which will increase the level of groundwater that can be used for irrigation of fields. Irrigation means the artificial application of water to the land to assist in production of crops during the dry seasons. Now, you must have heard about earthquakes. What is earthquake? Sudden changes inside earth can cause the earthquake. During earthquake, ground shakes and cracks open when the shaking is strong. Earthquake is a devastating natural phenomenon which can cause several injury and even people get killed. There is a great destruction of properties and also dams get cracked, which may result into flood. Let's learn about earthquake. So earthquakes are sudden vibration or tremor, that means the shaking on the surface of the earth. Earthquakes can be both minor and major in intensity. Now, if the earthquake's intensity is major, that means it will cause great damage. And minor means it will not cause that much damage. Major earthquakes are the most dangerous, widespread and destructive of all natural disasters. Do you know the most deadly earthquake in history was in China in 1556. More than 8 lakh people died. Let us learn about the causes of earthquake. But before that, let us understand that the earth has 4 major layers: the inner core, outer core, mantle and the crust. The crust and the top of the mantle make up a thin skin on the surface of our planet. But this skin is not at all in one piece. It is made up of many pieces covering the surface of the earth. Look at here. These pieces are called the tectonic plates. It is exactly like the jigsaw puzzle. Now look at here. These pieces keep moving around slowly, sliding past one another and bumping into each other. So, I hope now you understand that when these kind of tectonic plates collide with each other, it causes trembling of the Earth's surface. What are the other reasons of earthquake? It can be nuclear bombing and volcanic eruption. Now, the scientific study of earthquake is called the seismology, and the magnitude of an earthquake is measured on a Richter scale. Magnitude means the amount of energy that is released during the earthquake. The intensity of an earthquake is measured by a seismograph. Longest earthquake in recorded history took place in 2004 in the Indian Ocean. It lasted for 10 minutes. Now look at the picture. The focus is the point of origin of the earthquake below the surface of the earth. That particular point is known as the focus. And what is the epicenter? The point on the Earth's surface directly above the focus. Look at the picture. It is the point where the earthquake begins. The effect of the earthquake is the most near the epicenter. And the focus is also known as hypocenter. Now, steps to be taken at the time of earthquake. Don't panic. First of all, move to open areas like parks but not near any tall buildings and trees. They can fall on us during the tremor. And stay away from glass window and doors. If you are not able to move out, take shelter under a table or stand in corners of the room. And if the intensity of the earthquake is severe, it may cause a tsunami near the coastal areas. Now, let us learn about tsunami. A very long high series of sea waves is called a tsunami. Tsunami causes a lot of damage to lives and property. Tsunamis are series of ocean waves produced by underwater earthquake, landslide and volcanic eruption. Tsunami waves are very high and move with great speed. Look at the video. And it can move at the speed of 200 to 300 km per hour. Tsunami are high waves caused by sudden movement of the bed of the ocean due to earthquakes. The waves travel in all directions, which causes a lot of damage to property and life. The Pacific Ocean and its adjacent areas are the largest, most diverse and most tsunami prone of any of the Earth's oceans. That means those areas are likely to suffer from tsunami. In 2011, a tsunami struck Japan because of an earthquake with the magnitude of 8.8, and it caused a lot of damage to life and property. Now, we must remember, when such calamities occur, life must be saved first. Then we can attempt to prevent the damage and the other important things. Government sets up disaster management committee to help the disaster victims, and these committees help the disaster victims. We are all responsible citizens, so we must extend our hand to the disaster victims, and whatever we can, we must try to help them. So what is the meaning of disaster management? It refers to the measures taken for the safety and protection of life and property from natural or man-made disasters. And in the event of a disaster, the local police maintains law and order. The army helps to clear the roads and in setting up of camps. The Air Force drops food, medicine and clothes from the air where the roads are blocked. And also there are many national and international organizations which help the people at that particular time of the disaster, like the Red Cross Society or the WHO or the UNICEF, etc. They provide help to human beings in the form of medicines, food, setting up of relief camps which are a temporary home for the victims. So these are the events which are not in our control, but previously we have studied about flood and drought, and those events can be prevented by afforestation or by planting more trees. So children, remember, you are the future generation. So it is your duty to take care of our mother nature. This is all for today, students. So read these topics and this entire chapter thoroughly. Thank you, students.